Welcome, all you +2 comedy modifiers, back to Solving the Witness, a laid-back, annotated Let's Play where we try to uncover the deeper underlying secrets and meanings of Jonathan Blow's The Witness. We are deep inside the mountain or the volcano, but before we get to it, I did want to talk about a comment that I got on the previous video. Pedro999 Paulo says that the simulation could grow trees. And what he's referring to is, I claim that there must be, is not a simulation, that what exists in The Witness is not a simulation because in the plannings of the shrine, also known as the tree temple, I notice I say shrine or monastery, but some people call it the tree temple. In one of the rooms, you can see that they are planning the tree temple. They're planning the shrine. And they're building it, and then they are planting a tree so that the tree will grow through it. So the idea is that the tree is natural, the building is not. And the tree was not there when they built it. So I said, well, this is not a simulation. They are planning to grow a tree, and that takes time. Pedro's argument is you can have a simulation grow a tree, which is true. I don't know why you would do it that way. If this truly is a simulation, just make a tree appear. It's a simulation. It doesn't gain any data in that it will never be a perfect simulation if you were to try it in reality. To be like, well, this is what happened in the simulation. Well, there's 100 million trillion different variables that could affect the way a tree grows, from sunlight to rain to wind to structures, everything. So the idea that it works in the simulation, so we're going to try it somewhere else, doesn't really make sense. And I don't see a reason why you would simulate it if it's a simulator instead of just creating it. So it's an interesting theory, but not one that I'm personally going to subscribe to. In any case, subscribe right here to +2 Comedy Gaming for more of these videos. The plan is to get these up every 2 weeks. So there'll be a break and then it'll be a new episode. We're already breaking that format and this is coming out on the wrong day. But that's the plan for Solving the Witness going forward, is that these will come out every 2 weeks. I need more than 1 week to really dive into all the research I want to do. In any case, let's get back to my Let's Play already in progress. Through here, cut through here. Perfect. All right. Here we go. Deeper into the mountain we go. Oh, whoa, oh. Oh, that scared the shit out of me. I didn't see this woman there at first. I just kind of was like, hey, look, hole. But there's a woman sitting there surrounded, an old woman, a scary woman, surrounded by books. Yeah, I could get hag out of this. Look at the bony hands. Is 3 important? That's how many people are currently watching. 3. Yeah. Is that the ghost from Ghostbusters? The very beginning of Ghostbusters? I got an idea. Get her! What is she wearing? I don't know. It looks like it has, like, a big collar. So, I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what's going on with this woman surrounded by books. And the big thing that I really can't get over is how much she does actually look like the library ghost from Ghostbusters. She does, in fact, look like that ghost. I mean, no human could possibly stack these books this way. I think it is possible that this is actually a Ghostbuster reference, but I think that's a bit of a stretch. I think the easy interpretation of this is someone being buried in knowledge, surrounded by books representing knowledge, and that perhaps this could be a parallel to the man being buried by work, in the symbolism being crushed by desks and crushed by office chairs. She is kind of being buried in knowledge, that there is an overwhelming amount of things to know, and truly knowing anything and knowing everything is a burden and a task for a fool. And to attempt it would lead you to be buried underneath it and really not be able to apply it anywhere. So I think that parallel makes a lot of sense. This is an easy way to kind of solve the meaning of this. But I thought about it a bit more, because at one point I say something like, what is the point of 3? Because she's seated what I thought like this. I zoomed in and looked at it a little bit more. The pinky is out, so it is kind of the hand across the chest like this. So what could that represent? It seems to be a very purposeful positioning for this woman. So I tried to see, maybe does this have something to do with the Pledge of Allegiance, or if any other like hand signal could be displayed by this. And then I thought about it more and more, and I have seen this position before. That is the same position that the man on top of the mountain being yelled at by the woman is. He's holding a book like this, a book like this. He's holding a book like this. And she is not. She also seems to be much older, but the collar looks very familiar to the woman who's doing the accusing or yelling, depending on your interpretation of the statue on top of the mountain. I could possibly believe, and I think this is a new theory, that this is an aged version of the woman on top of the mountain. I said many times that it seems like this man is holding a book across his chest, and that's him holding on to his beliefs and using his beliefs as a shield as this woman yells at him for something. She's pointing behind her, and behind her is like a wall. I don't know what representation that could be. It is the hexagons, and we talked about the 6 principles of the witness. But what if we take it kind of at face value and the man is taking a step backwards? What if he falls? What if that is the next moment in this kind of story and he falls off the mountain and dies? The rest of the story is her alone, surrounded by these books, looking for something that she can care about as much as the man that she's yelling at believed in the thing he held against his heart moments before passing. And despite looking and all this searching, the answer is not there. She has surrounded herself with books, with information, things that she was hoping that she would care for, the same way that that man that she lost cared for something. But in the end, she comes up empty. I like this theory, so that's why I included it. What are your thoughts? What do you think this statue means? Let me know in the comments. Like maybe like a trench coat of some sort? I don't like her eyes. Ooh, and there's a cable here that's not powered. This is clearly like, oh, this is like one of the arches from outside. So here we have another arch, and I did some thinking about this. Arches are throughout the game. Now, I think, obviously, you can talk about the 3 arches on the top of the mountain that all of the lasers are pointing to, the kind of the keystone, the middle part of all those arches. But there's a lot of other arches in the game. There is an archway to get into the keep. There is an archway gate to kind of get to the laser of the Shady Trees area. You could argue that there are some archways in the keep when you're going through the mazes. They all end with kind of an archway. They're not as rounded, but you could say that there are arches throughout, and you're passing through arches constantly throughout the game. The one like weird idea I have about the arches is that they represent a story. The story arch, or the story arc, is a common device in storytelling, in that you start down here, and then you have the inciting incident, and then you work your way up to the climax, and then you come back down. I think it's a very interesting way if you take like the bottom as the baseline. You start here, and then you return to it, but different. You return changed. So I think it's possible that the arches could represent your journey, where in the game you are learning all these things and you're doing all this stuff, and eventually you'll return to life, to not playing the game. But you will be different through playing the game because your ideas and thoughts of the world have been affected. It's kind of an out there theory. We can also go with the more practical theory. I have been told many times that there is strength in arches.
There's strength in arches.
This arch could very much just be practical. This is just holding up bits of the mountain, because we believe now that the mountain is a hollowed out volcano, which means that a lot of the inside of the mountain was liquid magma, and thus it's not the most structurally sound item in the world, in that it's been destroyed by lava, so it would need these arches in order to stay put and not collapse in on itself. You could also make a very weird argument that since the arches are at the top of the mountain, at the very top, that they are constantly building, and that this used to be the top of the mountain, and then they built on top of it, and then they're going to build more arches and build on top of that. It's a bit of a stretch, but I'm going to come back to it later.
Interesting. You've terrified me and I hate you. I've been playing Outer Wilds. I literally just clicked to try to turn on my flashlight. Ooh, that's weird. So this is like a... You know, I don't know where the river comes from. Is this really where the river comes from? Are we producing the water?
This, to me, is so obvious, and I can't believe that it never occurred to me. It makes no sense that there is a waterfall. The highest point on this island is the mountain. But to have water flowing down it means that water has to in some way come up. And thus we can take from this that we are pumping water from the ocean and pulling it up here to create the waterfall. Which also made me think, hey, that's going to take a lot of energy. And made me think of like things like water wheels and stuff, the way that you kind of, I don't want to say create energy, but the way you harness energy, you harness the energy of a waterfall with a water wheel and then use that to power other things. There's really nothing on the island that would harness or create power. Like, there's no solar panels anywhere, which you would think would be the most obvious thing to put somewhere to kind of make power in some way. The waterfall is created and actually requires energy, so it's not a water wheel thing. The only thing on the island that you could use to create, or rather harness energy, would be the windmill. And it makes a lot of sense. I'm going to talk about the windmill a lot more in a moment, but the windmill is something that has always been considered a centerpiece of the Witness. In the earliest builds of the Witness, there was always a windmill. So the idea that that would be the one thing that they use to create energy that powers everything in the island would be the windmill, because it is harnessing the energy from wind to create energy to power other things. Except you have to turn the windmill on. Now, we've discussed before the idea that when you go into the windmill and you hit the switch, you're not turning it on, you're just releasing the lock so that the wind can spin it. But then why does it make a power noise? Like, maybe that's the sound of you turning the locks on to deactivate them or whatever. But I do find it very interesting that there's nothing on the island, really, that could justify being the thing that powers the lasers, the screens, the boats, the puzzles, all these things, other than the windmill. So maybe we should really take it as the windmill is the power plant for everything, or maybe there's something else going on here.
Fucking windmills. Windmills. None of them are broken. This one only has 3. Oh my god. Is there something about the windmills I can learn from this? Because I still think the windmill is the key to all of this. Can I see the windmill from where I am? Hello, miss. Oh shit, this is the treehouse. I'm sorry I'm so full of profanity today. That's the treehouse, that's right over there. Interesting. So this is right here. Can I find the audio clip? There's like an audio clip in like one of the windows in the actual treehouse. That's interesting. So we're like in the grand center of like where all this was built. And yeah, I get that these are like earlier models of the windmill, but like I don't see anything implying the current model of the windmill because all the windmills are pristine. There are no broken windmills. I mean, that one's not fully put together here, but the one that is used in game, in universe, is broken. So maybe it's not supposed to be broken. Considering things. Tree. And where are you? You're another part of the... I think that's another area of...
Oh my god, so much to talk about here, so I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible, but we're going to spend a lot of time here. First and foremost, more hexagons. Very obvious that, you know, this is a volcano, but I like the visual indication that continues to be true and a theme throughout this entire area. Two, this tree, if you look at the leaves very closely, they are kind of an evergreen tree, but they're not a pine tree. It's more of a soft bristle. It's exactly what I was describing in the previous episode of what a cypress tree is. So I think these are, in fact, cypress trees. So all that talk about cypress trees can be recontextualized to mean this area here. I also want to bring up all the moss. The moss would imply, again, like liquid being in the air. So the idea that we know that there's water right behind us, that the air vapor is getting around and everything's getting wet, and that's causing everything to kind of get moist. Sorry for using that word. But that evidence is here, again, with the existence of the moss on the stones. We have the prototypes for the windmills. And the windmills, they have a lot of, like, very interesting principles to them. The windmills are all functional looking. Like, none of them are actually broken. They are all your standard working looking windmill. There is a little bit of difference in that you have like the Holland windmill, the type that, you know, Don Quixote would go after. And then there's a more modern windmill that only has 3 blades that's used specifically for wind farming today. So there's a great chance that my idea that the windmill is the source of all power on the island could possibly be attributed to that because they considered making it a wind farm looking windmill instead of your classic spooky kind of windmill. But I do find it interesting that in the end they decided to go with something that is broken. So it seems to me like it is important that they had all these other windmills and then they chose to have a broken one. And I always said that the broken one seems to be create a kind of pointer, as if like you can tell how many revolutions something makes and which way it is pointing because there is a broken one. And the idea that that was a visual clue to mean something. So they went out of their way to create something that has that broken piece when they had all these other options. So the idea that the windmill is some sort of combination lock still continues to kind of make sense. Not really, but kind of. I also want to bring up the weird idea that this is the position chosen for both the windmill models and the treehouse models. That seems odd to me. I think the only way I can really justify it is the windmill is made of wood and the treehouse area is made of wood, and that's really the only wooden structures in the game. So maybe that's why they're together. You can see the treehouse area from here. And I did have this weird idea. The keep is also there. And the keep has like a large tower that lets you like see everything out. And I always kind of took it as like a guard tower. It's the highest point in a walled off area that would allow you to see everything going on. It's also the one with the most life because there's like people in there. And there's been a lot of discussions of the keep being a thing that keeps things out and also keeps people in. But if we take that to the logical conclusion that the keep is now meant to keep people out and keep people in, it is now a separate part of the island, it would need its own source of energy. And that guard tower, you can see it in this image, it's all brick going up, and then it turns to metal almost as if it is unfinished. Is it possible that the reason that the windmill models are here next to the treehouse models is to show that that's where the windmill was supposed to be? Is it possible that that tower in the background is an unfinished second windmill that the people of the keep were actually trying to build? This requires a lot more thinking. I'd have to go back to that area, but the structure of that tower is kind of similar to the structure of the windmill, and they were clearly designed for something, and the idea that it's more modern could possibly mean that they were trying to make a better windmill. I just find this whole placement thing to be very confusing because the windmill and the treetop area are not near each other, so to have both models near each other here, and to make it so you can see out, like unlike the shrine area, which is completely sealed off, it is important here that you're able to see the entire landscape. So I'm just trying to tie those pieces together and make them fit, and I can't quite make them fit, so that's the best that I've come up with. It also seems like with these models of the windmills that they seem to almost have environmental puzzles trying to be designed into them. It looks like they're painted in such a way to make sure that you have a circle and a straight line that comes off of it, so it eventually will be an EP. Which we had a discussion of whether or not EPs could be created by the people on the island. I won't rehash all of that. There's all these black bottles as well, which I found very strange. The Occam's razor answer to this is that's what's being used to paint the windmill. But the only other place that we've seen black paint, again, is the keep. The keep has that weird, what's that game? Ico monster that's fallen out of the basket. Is it possible that that's meant to draw some sort of connection here? I have a lot of circumstantial evidence, but no concrete evidence that we are trying to tie this area to the keep just because we can see the keep. But it's definitely something to think about. And of course, to end with this, these are again unused models of the windmill. Unused model, very video game term. So again, that kind of ties into the simulation theory. Told you it was a lot, and I got more to say later. So back to the Let's Play.
The treehouse is over there. All right, let's continue our walking. Really want to turn on a flashlight. Hey, bro. Can you turn that light on so it's easier to see? Is that a catapult? Oh, this is another one of the arches. What's the deal with the arches? So interesting.
It does kind of look like a catapult, but it's clearly not a catapult. We are not going to shoot this arch into the air or anything like that. It's there to clearly hold it in place. So perhaps they're making repairs, or just, again, there is strength in arches.
There is strength in arches.
So they were using this to kind of hold the facility up. The only other weird thing I want to say is if these arches are being built and then they build the mountain on top of it, going back to the idea that the current top of the mountain is not the end of the mountain, that they're going to continue to build up higher and higher. It is possible that at some point this was the previous top of the mountain, and then they continued to build it up. It's not a great theory, but it does kind of explain the backpacker. There is a backpacker on the mountain, climbing up. You can look down and see someone with a backpack attempting to climb the mountain. If this was the top of the mountain at some point, there wouldn't be a climber. So that's kind of a, parallel dimension here. It could also just be this is that climber a little bit later. they've made it to the top, and they are also descending into the mountain. I don't have a lot to say about the backpacker just because there's not a lot of detail, and you can't get like super close to him to kind of figure out what he's looking at, what his expression is, or things like that. But it's definitely weird that he's here and so poorly lit. So I spent a lot of time on windmills and the girl in the book cave. If you have ideas on the backpacker, please let me know.
He's just kind of watching it. Okay. Way early in development. It has changed many times. For me, the arch is a symbol of the goal of the game. The destination, okay. Jump! It makes me think of a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow a little bit too. I'm Irish. Because you can't actually get there. I hate this.
So I'm going to just jump in and say seizure warning. The rest of this is going to be a lot of me trying to solve these puzzles. I actually struggle with these puzzles quite a lot. There will be a few more cut-ins, so I'll put a link to all the cut-ins in the description. This way, if you want to skip these parts because it hurts your face to look at, which I totally understand, you'll be able to skip through it because these puzzles they're a bit rough. And I know a lot of people's biggest critique of The Witness is that there's no color blindness friendliness in this game, and this is a big example of this. I also just want to say really quick, there are flowers here. How are the flowers alive? I would imagine that they are photosynthesizing through the artificial light, which plants can do, and that there is, again, moisture and just water in the air. That's why the above panels exploded. If you look at the screens while I'm trying to solve this, especially while I'm trying to solve the second puzzle, the screen next to it looks water damaged. Like it almost looks a little moldy in a way. So I think the way that these plants are staying alive is the circulation of water in the air and also the artificial light. I don't know how well these plants would do with salt water because that seems to be the only water because we are pumping it up from the ocean that is all around. I guess the other idea, which I guess I should voice because I just thought of it, is that the only fresh water is the lake. And then that's kind of like a filtering system that my lights don't like when I make this motion. It's kind of like a filtering system, like we are taking the fresh water from the lake and putting it through the waterfall. This way it's never still. And that is the only fresh water we have. That's a possibility. I feel like I'm overcomplicating it, but that's what I do.
Alright, so these two seem to always be the same color. And I don't know about those guys. I don't like them. Actually, do this. And then this. And then this. Oh, crap. No, crap. Alright. So these seem to be flickering the same way. I'm sorry for the epilepsy warning. These guys seem to be flipping in the same way. So I want to make a big old L for loser. Okay, so what this is trying to teach me, this is the same color as this. So anything flashing the same way as this is the same color as this, which would be I think these guys. So, and I gotta hit this, which makes it a little bit more difficult. Boom. Yeah. Okay. So this is telling me that this is yellow. And yellow's got to be in a team. Or stars have to be in a team. But I think don't they have to be forget how the stars work. Like, I think they could just be with... Like, I think I can do this. Because I know that that's technically yellow. Like, that will count. And then I can just do this. Oh, no, wait. Just do that. No, I'd have to, I can just do this. And then I think those are technically yellow. No. No, this guy's not happy. Okay. So I still think I can do this, because that pairs that with one yellow, and now everything's fine. This is actually not the same color, so it's got to be like that. Could be multiple solutions. I could have gone up this way. My intuition serves me well on these ones. I'm not trying to think too much about them, and somehow it works. Yeah, because you never did it as a Let's Play where you have to explain it to your audience. I hate these puzzles. Oh my god. Okay. These are in fact the same colors. Oh man. I'm already grumpy now. Because I kind of have to... I could either do it like this, because this is not a rotatey boy. That's the way it has to be done. Because if I come up and I do it like this, then I capture the star. And that's no good. Use the force, Luke. The brute force. Alright, so... I know full well I have to make this move at some point. Not necessarily the way I just did, though. Because then how do I separate this shit? Because these are clearly different colors. Because that can't be rotated, and there's no... Yeah, so those are my only options. And there's no way to tell if these are the same colors. So if I do this, it will tell me if I'm wrong, right? Alright, so I now know these two are not the same color, right? Because it flashed red. If I do this, it should tell me if these are the same color. Okay, so this is green, and anything flashing at the same pace as this is also green, which would mean this star is green, which would mean these are all pink. Okay. Green, 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 everything else is pink. All right. So I have to separate this somehow like that, right? And that, no, I can't do that, and I can't do that now, and everything's ruined, and I hate everything. Yeah, if I come up and try to come down from the bottom, I'm locked out. So that's why, like, this makes so much more sense to me to do this. But then I'm locked, yeah, that doesn't work. Those are still locked together if I do that. And then I can do this. Nothing's separated. It's the problem. So I could do this. I could separate this one like this, and then come up here and do this. Now the star is like... Oh, but no, I didn't fully make the goddamn shape. Yeah, because now that's... Well, maybe not. And then I think that actually might be fine, because I think the stars semi-cancel each other out or something. No, there's one too many. There's one too many for that to work. I just need to not look at that for a second. Oh, you know what? Let's do this while we're down here. How does it get out of here? It went down.
Yeah, I'm wrong here. There are many ways out. We will discover soon that there are many exits to the mountain, many exits in this volcano that lead to different parts of the island. So it makes perfect sense that it goes down. I'm just being ignorant because I haven't gotten that far yet.
It does get out of here. Somebody got real pissed off and punched the flowers. Mwah. Smell real good. Okay. Brain, I need you to really do this for me. Really comprehend what you are looking at this moment. Alright? Really comprehend it now. We can try to fucking come... Like, literally, there's nothing else to be done at this point. Like, there's no other... I can't section off anything. And it's not a shape that can be rotated. Like, I can't just... Because, man, life would be so easy if I could just do this. So this shape can exist one of two ways. It can exist like this. And then it can also exist like this. But doing that sections off a star. And that means it can't be done. So is there a way... There's no other way to make that shape without rotating it while still capturing it in there, right? Okay. My biggest criticism of the game is that it has no color blindness options. I agree. Part of my job actually was, for a while, was to create stuff for the colorblind. So there's a little. I need to separate one more somehow, and I can't. Like, there's no way. There's no way for it to be done. This would work if I could separate one more thing. Because then a star would have a match, both stars would have a match that's inside because the stars are different colors. But I can't do that and make that freaking shape. Yeah, because then I'd have to go up one more, but that locks out everything. Locking out this star is not going to work. So I could no, because I could do this, I guess, but that's like Now everything's even less good. Yeah, I have no idea which, like, I'm trying to get some details of what's wrong, and I can't even get that intel. Just run around here, but... like, everything is still captured the same way, so that's... no freaking help. I mean, I get that these guys are wrong. What did... I could do that. It's not one that can be rotated, so there's no other way to capture it, because it's got to be the two bottom parts of the L, if that makes sense, because I'm speaking in Tetris terms. And, like, I have to make it, like, this has to be open, this part. Like, I can't, like, do that shit. And I can't come at it from another, like, I can't do this because then I'm sealed off. I can never solve the puzzle now. Not that that's even that helpful. There's something I'm missing. Something I'm missing about this. How is this growing? Give me my boundary break episode.
The flowers here are very interesting. The flowers here, I believe, are just to kind of remind you of these puzzles, because the color puzzles are part of the greenhouse where all the flowers are kept, and you look through different glass so you can see what the colors actually are and then solve the puzzles that way. These types of flowers seem to, like, happen around these types of puzzles. And the flowers are the same colors as the dots that appear in the puzzles. But it does beg the question, why are they these colors? Because if you look up through the ceiling, there's a few white ones. And usually you can turn white flowers a color by using colored water. It'll absorb the dye in the water and change its petals. But it can't be doing that if it's just getting the water from the air. I guess it has something to do with the light that's hitting it, because it's currently up in the ceiling, and those are the ones not getting hit with the lights. The other thing I want to say is there is colored water in the marsh area, or the algae farm as I like to call it. I just find it a very specific detail that there are white flowers in the ceiling. And it's something you can miss, but it's clearly done on purpose.
Because, like, I'm stuck in a rut. I'm stuck in your classic Witness rut of, like, I keep seeing it as this is the only way to do one thing. So let's try to focus on the other things. I'm focused too much on the L. Let's focus on just trying to get the other stuff to work. I think we decided. What did we decide the colors of this stuff was? I had figured out what the colors were. Because, yeah, this is what I want to do. Ready? Oh, I have to finish the whole puzzle, stupid. There you go. Do this. Mm-hmm. Merp. Now, let's see if the green one that is captured flashes. It does. So that means this is pink and this is green. So, calm down, please. This is pink, this is pink, this is pink, this is green, this is green, this is green.
Or you could just freeze it here. That's what the puzzle looks like. It's great having the power of pause. Unpause!
So somehow I have to do this. Capture those together like that. While also separating this one? Is it possible to pair the bottom star with the square on the bottom row and nothing else? You mean this square? Like this? But then you can't really do anything from this position is the problem. I can come around like this, but like eventually I have to make the from there can build the L. No? Well, I mean, I do this, but now I'm locking in this guy with them, so that's no good. And again, this doesn't work. No, because that has to be different. That maybe. No, because then that locks it. I want it to be here. I want to do this, but then to make the L it would have to be here, and then that captures the star, and that's no good. Crap. All right, and see, the other one's not done yet. I got other stuff I gotta do today, but now I'm like real focused. So, I'm trying something just out of curiosity. This will be an all-over failure right here. Now it's just a failure for this green star, okay, because it's not perfectly paired. Even though this is green and this is green and this is green, it's got to be paired. So it means that two of the shapes that I'm currently having in circles here the two down there have to be separated from the pink, and then only one of them have to be linked with that star. How the hell do I do that? Because once I do this, it's so screwed. Because I can't separate it. There's got to be something more to this L that I'm not realizing. But I can't rotate it, so... well, we got 69 comments. No, it's 70. The L pairs with the star, but if you pair the L with the star, it locks out everything. Unless it itself is green? Oh, it's the same color as the star. Okay, that's the thing I never realized. So now I can do this. All right. So I kind of got to do this, then this. Wait, no. First I got to go grab these guys. No, just one of them. Maybe? Now I've completely lost myself. No, these are the same color. I'll do that. And then I can do this. Maybe? No. Get these guys together. Get these guys together, but then there's nothing else I can do. So I could like try to get these guys together, then come up and get these guys together. Get them together, so I gotta do this. Now they're together, then I can do this. And it's still not gonna be good. These guys first, or I could. Oh wait, I can get these guys together like this, and then I can come up and bring these guys together like this. But that doesn't work at all because I can't make the freaking shape I need. No, it doesn't work. No, I can't ever make the shape now. Well, maybe I could. No, I can't. Because that's always going to be a thing higher. No, that's no good though. You see the problemo there? So I want to kind of like do this first. Actually, I could. Hold on, maybe I'm just dumb. There it is. There it is. Now I think everybody happy. What is your problem? Oh, it's included in the star. There. Then this. Then this. Then this. We are out of time, so screw you. I mean, rainbows are cool, but we'll come back and we'll do that tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, next week. Oh my god, it feels so good to look at white walls right now. Oh, look how white they are. Oh, it's so nice. Thank you so much for joining for another episode of Solving the Witness. If you're watching this on YouTube, it'll cut to me yelling about takeaways.
And that's going to do it for this episode of Solving the Witness. We have a lot to talk about here. I'm going to fly through this as fast as possible. One, we got the bookcase ghost from Ghostbusters, the library ghost. Why do you think she's buried in there? Is it the idea that she's buried behind knowledge? And is it the same woman as the woman on top of the mountain having the disagreement with the man holding the book to his chest? I think it is. I think that tells a nice story, so I'm going for it. There's the arches and story arc and the idea of you start somewhere and you end back at the same place but different, and how that might reflect your relationship with the game. Also the fact that they are strong and you can build on top of them, and the idea that the mountain is not finished being built. The arches are out there, but the rest of it hasn't been built on top of it yet. Is that madness? Let me know in the comments down below. The idea of the windmill models. The fact that this proves that they chose it to be broken, and being broken is important. The idea that the keep was supposed to have a windmill. These weird black bottles. Is it just paint, or does it mean something else? Is there a reason why it's there? And the filtration system. Is it water from the ocean? Is it water from the lake? Why are they doing that? Is it just to create a pretty waterfall? Let me know in the comments below. What else? Not a catapult, but what's the deal with the backpacker? Is there a special meaning there? Let me know, because I don't have an answer for the backpacker right now. I just don't. I did so much other stuff. Lay off. You come up with something with the backpacker. We'll talk about it next episode. The flowers. The flowers, are they just getting water from the air, which is what I believe, but why are they those particular colors, and why are there white flowers in the ceiling? And it's not like the desert flower that I constantly talk about. These are those types of flowers, but they're white. Why is that? Let me know why that is. Woo! That's going to do it for this episode of Solving the Witness. Be sure you subscribe right here to Plus 2 Comedy Gaming so you'll get a notification next time we decide to solve the witness.